Sure we're ready? Okay, so do I need to zoom in some more for my blind children?
Oh, no, I'm not blind.
Did you go get contacts?
Yeah, well, I found 2 more pairs, and then on Thursday my dad's come down so I could go buy them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's good.
Or your dad is good, but whatever. All right, so let's look at number 1. What is the biggest perfect square that goes into 150?
25.
So that gave you 5 root 6.
Yes.
All right, then did you get 2 root 5?
Yes.
Then did you get 4 root 3?
Yes.
Then did you get...
230.
That's what I'm talking about. And then did you get 77?
Yes.
And then did you get 3?
I'm sorry, not.
Wait, it's not 77 root 11?
Nope, because the square root of 121 is 11, so it's 7 times 11, which is 77.
You just leave it?
As 77.
Did you just say life is crazy?
I said life for me.
It's magic. Alright, so then we have done these before where you take the
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you. Cubed root of something. So you need 3 of the same number. 27 is a perfect cube. The answer is 3. Alright, any questions so far?
Wait, whenever you find the cube root, it's always just the number?
7 is
Not always, but that one is.
Not the 6. Yeah, just because it's all 3?
27 is a perfect cube, yeah.
3 times 3 times 3 is 26.
Yep.
I really love that.
Alright, so now number 7. Number 7. On fractions, I told you the first thing I want you to do is either reduce or break it apart. Now, you can't reduce this, so I would break it apart into the square root of 9 divided by the square root of 64. Both of those are perfect squares. What's the square root of 9?
3.
What's the square root of 64?
8.
Your answer is 3/8.
Oh.
Oh, wow. I did not get that right.
Did anybody get it right?
I know, but can you leave it right?
Hey, one person! Woo!
I thought you multiplied
Yes.
by the bottom.
If it is a perfect square, you don't rationalize. But those are perfect squares. So now that we've done 7, can you guys fix 11 and 12 real quick?
Yes.
Okay, go back and fix 11 and 12 real quick. Stop after 12. It's a perfect square. Bless you. Do y'all want to know how many questions I've been asked today so far?
Yes.
86.
86. Whoa. Did you count it?
That's a high number.
Okay, 87. Look.
Oh, she's keeping tally.
Wait, is it like double questions or just one?
It's just asking questions.
Mark, did you count the question that I asked you?
That's it.
Then I get this to like 200.
You were like the first 10.
Then I get this to 200.
That was my third question.
Are you serious? Do you not remember 0 period?
You just have to questions. How do you remember to count? Like 8, 9. Look.
Alright, did y'all get 3/10?
Yes.
And then 2/5?
Yes.
Woo! Look at us go. Alright, then we get into 13. Now, can we reduce, first, are these perfect squares?
No.
Alright, can we reduce that fraction?
No.
No, so break it apart. Break it apart into 2 separate radicals so that it becomes the square root of 20 divided by the square root of 27. Now you rationalize, which means we need to multiply the top and bottom by the denominator. So what's our denominator?
27.
It is not 27.
Square root of 27.
Yes, those are 2 different numbers. So we multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 27.
Then you get 540.
You do get the square root of 540. Alright, can anybody tell me what the biggest perfect square that goes into 540 is?
I did mine like I did it and I had to divide again. So.
Neither of those are a perfect square. We need perfect squares. Thank God. This is why I keep you around.
You're welcome.
Alright, so you divide by 36, and that's 36 and 15. And then it's 6 root 15 divided by 27. Can I reduce my fraction of 6/27?
Yes.
What can I reduce that to?
2 square 5. No.
2 9.
Oh, sorry.
2 root 15 divided by 9. Now, let's walk through one more time how we got that. Once you all finish writing down. What? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Okay. Alright, here we go. Now, the first thing we did was we broke it apart into 2 separate radicals. And then we needed to rationalize because we cannot have a radical in the denominator. So we multiplied the top and the bottom by the square root of 27. And then we got 20 times 27 gave us 540. 27 times the square root of 27 times the square root of 27 gave us 27. Then we broke 540 down into 36 and 15. The square root of 36 is 6, so we got 6 root 15 divided by 27. We reduced our fraction by 3 and got that. Can I also tell you another trick on how to get this?
Yes. Yeah.
The biggest perfect square that goes into 20 is 4. The biggest perfect square that goes into 27 is 9. What's 4 times 9? So that's the biggest perfect square that goes into 540. I know! Let's do the next one together.
So then how would you get 15 then?
36 times 15. You would do 540 divided by. And you would also, if you simplified these under here, you would have 5 and 3 under the radical. So you would multiply those together and get 15. It's magic. Or math. Alright, now, can 27/8 be reduced?
No.
No. So what do we need to do?
Multiply by the square root of 8.
Yep.
After we break apart the radical, we need to multiply by the square root of 8. Does everybody agree so far?
Yes.
Are we sure?
Square root of 216.
It is the square root of 216 divided by what?
Square root of 8.
No, just 8. Alright, now who can tell me what the biggest perfect square that goes into 216 is?
Well, it's 36, but but you can't divide 8 by 56.
What does that have anything to do with anything, Tater Tot?
Because then don't you have to divide the bottom by?
No.
Oh.
You just do the radical. So you get 36 and what?
6.
Okay, so that gives you 6 root 6 divided by 8. And what does that reduce to?
4 root 6. I mean 3 root 6.
3 root 6 divided by 4.
Yes.
Bless you. Does anybody have any questions on how we got that? Are we sure? Do y'all want to do one more together, or can you take what we just did and apply it to this page?
Yeah.
Okay, can you do number 14? Or if you already did it, correct it. Please and thank you. Yes. Ma'am?
I really don't know where that sheet is.
Which sheet? I would see if there's an extra one in the tray then if I were you. Good talk. Go team.
Oh, it's Miss Anne. Why is my pencil keep disappearing? Hey y'all, be on the lookout for the
She did say 14.
Okay, now we got it.
Yeah.
There is something wrong with you.
Add a thought.
Did anybody get it right?
Completed.
Woo! Hey, good job. All right.
Don't you have to
We're meant to reduce it?
Can you?
No.
No, you can't.
Only one goes into it.
But 3 is not under the radical. 3 is not under the radical. Only 15 is, so you can't reduce this. On the others, right, but 8 and 6 were on the outside of the radical. There's nothing on the outside of our radical. We just have square root of 15 divided by 3. So we can't reduce those because they're both not under the radical. Now let's look at 15. Can you guys try that one without me? I've got the magic. Oh my god. You can do it, Savannah. You've already done it? You think you got it right? Maybe? Are we all done? Can I work out this? Okay. Shall I get root 6 divided by 6?
Yes.
We did 17 together, right?
Yes.
We need to reduce this. I was looking back at this and I was like, we're not done with this problem. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 12? Perfect square, Marshall. 4. So then that's 2 root 3q divided by 12. So what does that reduce to? That reduces to 1/6. So that's root 3q divided by 6. Now on number, do we have any questions about that one? Where?
Because I thought you said that you can't divide it and like have them when they're outside.
These are outside the radical.
There's something else like that.
We just broke that down into 4 and 3. So the biggest perfect square that goes into 12 is 4. 4 times 3 gives you 12. You take the square root of 4 and get 2. So now it's 2 root 3q divided by 12.
So you can break it down to the cube.
You can break it down because the 12 has a perfect square in it. And I just forgot that when I looked at it on Thursday. For some reason. I don't know why. Alright. Number 16. You could do this 2 ways. You can cross divide that 6 and 3. Or you can multiply. What do you guys want to do?
Multiply.
Alright. What is 6 times 1?
6.
What is 7 times 3?
21.
Alright. What is 6 21ths reduced to? 6 21st? 6 divided by 21. 3 sevenths? Because I think it's 2 sevenths.
2 7s because divided by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get 7.
So it's the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 7. Alright, now what do I do from here?
Multiply 7 over the square root of 7.
Multiply by the square root of 7. Alright, what is the square root of 2 times the square root of 7?
14.
14.
Square root of 14. And what's the square root of 7 times the square root of 7?
27.
Which is 7.
Oh my gosh, I erased all my stuff.
Yeah, if it's the same thing.
I got it right.
Original one, when you multiply it, then it stays the same, or is that just for all?
Oh,
Anytime you have, I wish I could have recorded that face. Anytime you have two of the same radicands and you multiply them together, it's that number. Are we ready to look at 18? Because 18 is magic. Can we reduce 4 fifths?
No.
Can we break it apart?
Yes.
And we can break it apart into the square root of 4h divided by the square root of 5? It's easy. And then I get? Am I done? No. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 20? Oh my mama. Perfect squares. Perfect squares. On Robin. What's the square root of 4? So it's 2 root 5h divided by 5. Y'all are making me put stuff on my mama. She didn't deserve that. She's just at the beach relaxing, and y'all are making me angry.
She stayed home.
I know.
Robin.
Just like my dad.
She's deserved it. She's earned it.
I was talking about, she said who? I said
Is she retired? No. But she runs the company, so. Yeah. Well, she still takes her computer with her, so she's not really on vacation.
What company is it?
It's called Rely. It's a title and closing company.
It's the title.
Closing company where you go buy your house. You have to get a title for your house, a property search, and then you close on it. Mom does all that.
What do they search on your property?
They have to search your property to see if there are any outstanding mortgages or liens or judgments and all that.
Dead bodies.
Yeah, they don't search for that. That's not. All right, that's not. What are you trying to say, Micah?
What?
What are you trying to say, Micah?
You gotta make sure there's no drugs on the property.
For the open house, you know?
For the open house. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
the open house for your house. She's talking about the one she's building.
My neighbor's trying to
Oh
sell their
my
house.
gosh.
Yeah, you should go in there and make sure there's not.
I'm baffled.
Yeah, you should go search and be like, I'm here for dead bodies and drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, we are recording. Thank you.
Never mind.
Thanks, Micah. All right, so let's do 19 together, and then I want you to try 20 without me. Is everybody ready? Brace yourselves for the mayhem. Break this apart. The square root of 12 divided by the square root of b squared. Now, is b squared a perfect square?
No.
Yes, it is. 2 goes into 2 once. So we're left with b in the denominator. B squared's a perfect square.
What?
B squared's a perfect square.
I know that.
Then why are you arguing with me?
What is the 2 from what?
The 2 in the radical. Right here. Remember it's an invisible 2? 2 goes into 2 once.
Okay, why is the top of this?
It's not, we're not done yet.
Oh.
I just paused to breathe. What is the biggest perfect square that goes into 12?
4.
And so that's 2 root 3 divided by b.
Okay, I got that right.
Me too.
Like, I do not remember doing it.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
haven't.
Okay, well, do you see how I did it just now?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Do we want to walk through it again?
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
I ask more dinner?
Yes. Can you hustle? All right, let's walk through it. What is on your legs?
Socks.
And your dog
Okay.
named Boomer. Can get you something Mother's Day? Why do you have me told you?
Nothing, just keep going. No, I don't have any dog named Boomer. All right, so I broke it apart into the square root of 12 divided by the square root of b squared. And then I said b squared is a perfect square. So I'm going to take the square root of it. So I took the square root of b squared and I got b. Magic. Then I saw the biggest perfect... Am I teaching? So what y'all supposed to be doing back there?
Looking.
Not talking.
Oh.
You saw you talking.
Right. I'm not... Boy, I'm about to smack you with this one.
I was just looking. I wasn't talking.
Man, I know that look from your head.
All right, so then I said the biggest perfect square that goes into 12 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2, so you have 2 root 3. Now, please do 20 without me. Break it apart first, then take the square root. You can do it.
Before I redo this one, can I ask you if it's right? Ask you if it's right.
Maybe. Yes. Don't show him your work.
Wasn't even
Not surprised. Yes? Yep. Okay. Nope, you dropped off some letters. Okay. I'm not talking to you.
I was just saying.
I'm just saying. Yes, ma'am. Oops, I can't see it. Alright, yes, no, maybe. Maybe?
Oh yeah, I got that.
Do we see how I got it? We ready to go back to the other page? Avery, are you with me? Are you sure? Okay. Alright, so let's go back to this page. I want to look at number 35.
Did we learn anything?
No.
Alright, so 35. Can you reduce 4 and 20?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, what's
No.
Can you reduce 4 square root of 20?
No.
No, because that 20 is under the radical, right?
Right.
So what do I need to do? They're already broken apart.
Multiply.
Multiply, rationalize. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 20. Alright, so then we have 4 square roots of 20 divided by 20. Can the square root of 20 be broken down?
Yes.
Yes, into what? Okay, so what does that break our radical down into? And then what do we do with that 2 and this 4 right here? Multiply them. So it's 8 root 5 divided by 20. So what am I going to do with my fraction now?
Reduce.
Reduce. What goes into both? Okay.
4.
The square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8.
No, like 5. No.
It is 4. 4 goes into both of those. She's right.
I was saying.
Alright, so then 8 divided by 4 is 2. You have 2 root 5 divided by 5. Does everybody see how I got that?
Yes.
So can you take those skills and do number 33?
We didn't say that.
Yes.
Thank you.
33.
Do, oh my sweet Jesus in heaven.
Okay, what's up?
Wait, how'd you get 20? No, 8.
The square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8.
Okay.
Yes. Fantastic. Because the square root of 20 times the square root of 20 is 20. Yeah, that was like 3 more. That puts us up to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 96. Just in this class period, we went from 81 to 96.
Well,
Well, most of them came within like a 1 minute period.
Yeah.
That's kind of our job, right? Us to ask questions and like Yeah, but we got that that you just confused. Yeah, because
So we asked 15 minutes.
No, it's not that you're asking because you're
We have
confused.
15
You're asking because you need attention.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I don't see it.
Oh,
Did you get it right?
yeah.
Look at you go.
And I didn't see off the mic.
I'm so proud of you.
We were going like, oh, that's it.
Alright, let's look at 19. Alright, so 19 has letters in it, right? I would break it apart into the square root of x divided by the square root of y to the fourth. Now, first you need to see if they're perfect squares. X is not a perfect square because there's just one of them, so it's just the square root of x. Is y to the fourth a perfect square?
Yeah.
Yes. 2 goes into 4 twice, so it's the square root of x divided by y
There we
squared.
go.
Okay, I like it better when it just got letters.
Yeah. How did you get one?
2 goes into 4 2 times, so that becomes y squared.
Why is it not in the?
Because we took the square root of it. That's what you do when you divide those. Because the radical right here means that you just divide it by 2. Alright, let's look at 20. Could we break this one down? Alright, so I was just breaking this one down first. Into the square root of 50 divided by the square root of z to the fifth. Now, we can do this one 2 ways. We can go ahead and simplify our radical, or we can rationalize. Which one would y'all like to do?
Simplify.
All right, let's simplify our radical. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 50?
25.
And the square root of 25 is?
5.
So it's 5 root 2. Does everybody see where we got that from? All right, now let's simplify z to the fifth.
Where's the 2 come from?
Because 25
25 times 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so then what is the... How many times does 2 go into 5?
2. I mean,
No.
No, twice.
With how many left over?
1.
very good.
Okay, now can we have a radical in the denominator? No. So we need to get rid of that radical of z. How do you think we're going to do it? Multiply by what?
The square root of
The square root of z. Alright, here's where the magic happens. Alright, we know that the square root of z times the square root of z is z, correct?
Yes.
Times z squared. So what is z squared times z?
Z cubed.
Z cubed. Alright, and then we multiply 2 times z, so you're just left with 5 times the square root of 2z. And that's your answer. You don't have a lot of those on. I don't even think there's any like that on your study guide. I just want you to be able to do them.
Who made it?
quiz test.
Did Staples make it?
Pardon?
Did Staples make the shake?
Do staples?
That'd be pretty cool.
What? There's something wrong with you. Alright, so now I want to do the last portion of our notes over here. Part 4. Which is, I wish I could talk.
But I heard, but I was just
You're confused on what?
like, you know, you said the quiz thing. I thought that was like for like this week, not this.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Are we taking all quizzes? No, we're taking next week on that.
Right, we have a quiz this week.
Yeah.
As in part of this
We're doing our
class.
study guides this week. We're taking all quizzes or exams.
Yeah.
Alright, so conjugates are how you get rid of a denominator when it's 5 plus a radical or 2 minus a radical or baby Jesus minus a radical. So conjugates mean the opposite. So let's write that. Conjugate is the opposite. Last week. Wednesday. Alright, so the opposite means that if you have plus, you would multiply it by minus. If you had minus, you would multiply it by what?
Plus.
And do you see how the square root of b and the square root of c are the same?
Right.
So what it is stays the same, you just change the sign. So the conjugate of 5 square root of 2 would be 5 plus the square root of 2, rather, would be 5 minus the square root of 2. So you multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate, which is 5 minus the square root of 2. Okay? We together so far?
Yes.
Do you need this sheet?
I do.
Okay. Do you have your sheet? Okay, keep looking for it. That's fine. Everybody else just pause.
I need it, because like, I don't know.
It's in the tray.
Thanks.
Okay.
That's it.
Come on, though.
Two. You get Tuesday?
I got it.
You get Tuesday?
Okay. So you multiply it by the opposite. So if it's 5 plus the square root of 2, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 5 minus the square root of 2. That's the conjugate. So you multiply by the opposite of whatever this sign is. So then from here, look in Wednesday's tray. Look underneath that paper. If it's not in there, then look in Thursday's tray and look underneath those papers.
I can put it here.
You
like
So then we do 3 times 5 minus the square root of 2 because we're multiplying. And then on the bottom, all you have to multiply together are the 5s and the square roots of 2. So it would be 5 squared minus the square root of 2 squared. And you do that every single time. Yes, every single time it's going to be like this. Because there's 2 of them, not 3 of them. That has nothing to do with the exponent. Being silly. Alright, now, on the top, how do we get rid of parentheses? And that gives us 15 minus 3 square root of 2. Now, why do I not multiply that 3 times the 2? Because it's not in the square root. Fantastic. Now, let's look at the denominator. Say it again. Are you sure? Okay. Alright, now, we need to square 25. I'm sorry. We need to square 5, and we get... And then we do the square root of 2 squared, which is just 2. So what is 25 minus 2?
23.
And that's our answer.
I was sitting down just to write and like.
Y'all were sitting back there talking.
No, on it.
Y'all have been sitting back there
It
talking.
wasn't me. When I was writing, I was being for real. Just counting what I was.
Copy it down. We're moving on to the next one. So again, you have to multiply by the conjugate, which means you multiply by 5 minus the square root of 2 on the top and the bottom. So we did 3 times this, which is where this came from. And then 5 times 5 gives us 5 squared. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 gives us the square root of 2 squared. The reason we do that is because this is the difference of 2 squares. So let's go to the next one. What is the conjugate of 2 plus the square root of 2?
2 minus square root of 2.
So we multiply the top and the bottom by 2 minus the square root of 2. And then we're going to do 3 times 2 minus the square root of 2 divided by, does everybody see where I got the top from? Are we sure? Okay, you do 3 times the conjugate. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 times 2, which is going to give me 2 squared. minus the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is going to give me the square root of 2 squared. Does everybody see where I got that from? You just have to multiply those together each time. You don't have to multiply the inside. Normally we would use FOIL, and FOIL would cancel the inside, so you just multiply the first two and the last two. It's a trick. Emily, are you with me, babe? This one? The square root of 2 squared. My 2's in my C, so it's kind of hidden. Alright, so then we distribute. What is 3 times 2? What is 3 times the square root of 2? 3 root 2. Alright, what is 2 squared? And what's the square root of 2 squared? And 4 minus 2 is? And then boom, you're done. Don't do it. Leave it like this. Because it's that whole numerator divided by 2. If you reduce it, you would have to do 3 minus 3 square roots of 2 divided by 2. So it would be messy. Can you try C without me, or do you want to do that one together and then try another one without me?
Do this one without me.
Okay, try it without me. You can do it, Tater. Do we think we might be ready?
Almost.
Almost? Okay. Can I? I can. I think I might do that. I might be willing to do that. Maybe. Maybe. Nope. Yep. Minus. It's always a minus.
What did I do the top right though?
Mm-hmm.
So just change that to
9 minus 7. You can use one, since you were going to sneak into it, not ask.
No, I was looking for the black.
It's right here.
It's negative.
Yeah, negative.
Yeah, I'm taking Spanish.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't think I did it right.
Take a.
It should be a plus in between there.
Add the B in there.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, close. Okay, that's right.
Yeah. And you can't have a negative under the radical. I don't know why you changed what's under the radical.
I'm sorry.
Hold it.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
It's Asbury. I actually did it by myself. You heard Miss Asbury?
What?
I actually did it by myself.
Look at you go.
Without copying.
Look at you go. Did anybody get that? 21 plus 7 root 7 divided by 2? Yes.
For the bottom, like, you know how you was gonna put some square? Why didn't you put that on minus?
Because it's a negative times a positive.
Okay, because I just like kept it in like a minus just without making it all.
Yeah. It's a negative times a positive, so you'll subtract each time.
What's that number? What's that number behind the light plus?
And where did
7.
this come from?
So not 3 squared minus the square root of 7 squared is 9 minus 3, which is, oh, I'm sorry, 9 minus 7, which is 2.
What did you square 7?
You square the square root of 7.
Hey, don't go back there.
Wait. Isn't that like on the one where we were at like 25 minus 2 and 4 minus 2? What are you at?
What? Right here?
Yeah.
What is it over here?
Yeah.
9 minus 7. Do y'all want to do another one together? Okay. Alright, let's look at this page and let's look at 21. This is the 10-2 skills practice.
I think I just don't know like how to put it together because I have like everything that you had. I just didn't have like the final.
Okay. Alright, so we need to multiply by the conjugate. What's the conjugate of 4 plus root 5? Alright, 4 minus root 5. 4 minus root 5. Is everybody with me? I'm going to show you step by step of what I'm going to do. So then I'm going to get 2 times 4 minus root 5 divided by 4 squared minus the square root of 5 squared. Is everybody with me?
Wow, this looks extremely like what you just did.
Yes. Do you all understand how I got to this point? Are we sure? Alright, then 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times the square root of 5 is 2 root 5. Divided by, alright, 4 squared is 16. The square root of 5 squared is 5. So 16 minus 5 is 11.
So it's always like when you're doing the square root of 5, it's always going to be the number that's inside here. Oh, okay.
Alright, so try 22 without me.
Okay. 22.
Yes, take the G.
Oh, baby.
Wait, I
No. Sure.
Look at you.
Do you need another color?
Brown.
Ma'am? 16 minus 5 is 11. Then I hope you got it right.
Who, me?
Her. Did you get it right? Pam? Why?
I don't know.
Did you do 3 times 2 and got 6? Okay, well that's our first step. You multiply this 3 times this 2 and get 6.
Where do you get the
crap.
plus 3 from?
I totally just.
Because I got plus 2.
Is it okay if you put one?
Because this is a
Wait, no.
stop. Let me just get here. 3 times the square root of 3 is 3 root 3. Does everybody see how I got that?
Yes.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Does anybody have a question on the top? On the bottom, it's 2 squared minus the square root of 3 squared. So 2 squared is 4 minus 3, which is 1. You have to subtract each time.
I like this for the best.
Or you have to.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Can you leave it with the one under?
No. Can I what? Yes. You end up with 2 squared minus the square root of 3 squared. 2 squared is 4 minus the square root of 3 squared is 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. Yes.
So why aren't we adding since we have to change it?
Because a negative times a positive is a negative.
Negative, okay.
Anything else?
So like all the time we're gonna subtract.
Yes, all the time.
We're working down on questions.
Yes. I think we're up to 101.
Are those tally marks?
Yeah. Okay, can you guys try 23 without me? And while you're doing 23, I'm going to pass out the handout for tomorrow and your semester exam study guide.
I don't know if that's very, you've already looked up several questions already.
Wait. May I go now see she's back?
Yes.
Can I go and
I lost my friend.
Yes.
I know it's gonna be talking like this.
I'm gonna be so stressed.
105.